Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. My name is Ashley Abdullah, and I'm the Director of Marketing for Emerge Americas. On behalf of my entire team, we'd like to thank you for joining this afternoon's virtual panel event entitled Welcome to Miami. The majority of our virtual panel will be focused on our presenters today, and we'll hear from each of them. But you'll have the opportunity to engage with them via our Q&A session. So we encourage you to get involved in the conversation. If anyone poses a question or statement that particularly resonates with you, we invite you to submit your comments or questions in the chat box and in the Q&A portal right at the bottom of your screen. If you'd like to submit a particular question for one of our panelists, the best thing to do is use the @ symbol and type the panelist's name. Note that we're recording today's session so as to stream to a larger audience, and the recording will be later made available so as to watch on demand. And now, to open our event, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the President of Emerge Americas, Melissa Medina.
Thank you, Ashley, and thank you for all your hard work in coordinating this amazing virtual seminar for all of us. Thank you to everyone, and welcome to today's virtual event presented by Slalom. For those just learning about Emerge Americas, we are a platform that connects the dots between startups, investors, higher ed, corporate enterprises, and government officials, all for one objective: to spur investment and innovation across the Americas, and to help create a sustainable and thriving tech hub for the Americas in South Florida. To this end, each year we host our annual signature global event, the Emerge Americas Tech Conference, which convenes more than 16,000 attendees from over 40 different countries. In and outside of the event, we create and curate content and resources for entrepreneurs, investors, and our entire ecosystem to help address the latest challenges and opportunities in tech and in venture. If you heard the latest buzz over the last 48 hours, which the panelists and I were just talking about, we announced that the next Emerge Americas Tech Conference will be hosted as part of Miami Tech Week 2022 on April 18th and 19th, 2020. But also look out for our continuous lineup of virtual events, as well as small, curated in-person events throughout the year. Today's conversation couldn't be any more timely and more important. Miami has truly blossomed into a burgeoning hub, and in recent months, we've seen hundreds of founders, investors, and executives in tech and finance relocate to the 305. I'm sure everyone has heard the buzz. Today's conversation is for both OG Miami residents and new transplants alike, so that they may set up and scale their businesses with much success. With that in mind, I'd like to give a warm welcome to our guest panelists and friends joining us this afternoon, who have all played and continue to play a vital role in the growth of our ecosystem. Thank you to all of you who are joining us. First, I'd like to welcome Madame Mayor Daniella Levine Cava.
Thrilled to be here, Melissa. Thank you so very much for including me today.
Of course. Mayor Levine Cava was elected Miami-Dade County's first ever woman mayor in November 2020. I always get so excited. She enters the mayor's office following a nearly 40-year career as a relentless advocate for South Florida families in public service and elected leadership. As Miami-Dade County's mayor, she oversees a metropolitan government with more than 28,000 employees, serving nearly 3 million residents, managing an annual budget of approximately $9 billion. It's very important to note that Miami-Dade County is one of the founding partners of Emerge Americas, and we are eternally grateful for that steadfast support. Thank you, Madame Mayor.
It's been great. And as a commissioner, I attended every single conference and look forward to 2022.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome my friend, Michael Finney, President and CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. Thanks for being here, Mike. The Miami-Dade Beacon Council is the official economic development organization for Miami-Dade County. Its mission is to increase jobs and investment through marketing Miami as a world-class business destination, help grow local companies, and shape Miami-Dade's economic future. As president and CEO, Mike Finney champions the county's efforts to market Miami-Dade as a world-class business destination. The Beacon Council has also been a partner of Emerge from the beginning of our journey, and we continue to collaborate together on several fronts, and truly can't thank you enough, Mike, for being here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
And last but not least, we'd like to give a very special welcome to our partner and presenter of today's event, Beau Williamson, General Manager of Slalom Florida. Thank you, Beau, for being with us today.
Happy to be here.
Slalom is a purpose-driven consulting firm that helps companies solve business problems and build for the future, with services spanning business advisory, customer experience, technology, and analytics. It is one of the fastest growing consulting companies in the US, with offices in the US, Canada, and the UK. It is consistently rated as a top place to work, a testament to Slalom's focus on people first. Slalom reached out to us as soon as they opened offices in Miami and have been incredible supporters and partners ever since. We're thrilled to partner with you, Beau, and I'd like to turn the mic over to you to kick it off and to tell us a little bit about Slalom's Florida office, the support of Miami Tech. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa. I am so delighted to be here and sharing the stage with you, Madam Mayor, and Mr. Finney. It's a pleasure, and I'm excited for this conversation. Let me start by saying that Miami is my home. I have lived here for over a decade. My wife's born and raised here. We're raising our family here. I'm profoundly invested in Miami Tech and the growth of the technology and business community here in Miami. For many years of my career in technology and business consulting, I would get up on Monday morning, I would fly out of MIA to some other city in some other state to help companies transform, grow, launch product. And over the last 24 months, as the general manager of Slalom Florida, I get to wake up and stay here in Miami, working with an incredible team of people and collaborating with leaders of businesses that are growing here, from startups to Fortune 500 companies in industries from cannabis to cruise lines, and really help shape the future of Miami, which is incredibly exciting for me. Melissa, you couldn't be right. I mean, what the technology and innovation has been building in Miami for years. I've seen it, I've been a part of it, but what's happened, over the last number of months and over the last 48 hours and it's just been incredible. It is exciting. And I think the timing of this conversation, right, around, how do we create this together? How do we fuel the growth and scale it? But how do we do it in a sustainable way for our community so nobody gets left behind is phenomenal. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Beau. And I couldn't agree more. I think everybody here on this call, I'm sure several people that are listening to this conversation today have helped get Miami to the point where we are today. And I think this newfound acceleration and growth and global lens into the South Florida ecosystem is something that we all have to kind of embrace, collaborate together in order to really capitalize on this moment and take Miami to the next level. So thank you again, Beau, for those comments, and thank you all for the support. We're gonna kick off the conversation now, lively and interactive conversation. And I'll start just by asking, to all of you, what is one positive outcome or blessing in disguise you've experienced during quarantine over these last crazy months and even over a year? It's hard to even fathom how much time has passed. And I'll start by saying, for me, it's been quality time with my family, but also I'd like to underscore how incredible it's been that South Florida is now shining a light on what it means to live and work in an amazing place. So those have been my two kind of highlights, but we'll start with Madam Mayor, what would you say has been kind of the positive and the highlights of this crazy time we've all been living?
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. Well, unfortunately, my family was all out of town, at least my grandchildren. So that was a benefit for me.
Oh, that's tough.
That was sad. But I will say, somebody mentioned, and I agree, that our compassion has grown in this period, that we hunkered down, those of us who could. We, of course, had to reinvent ourselves, both from a personal and a business perspective. And I think that it has really helped expand our understanding of the challenges that others have faced. We are certainly also the beneficiaries of other places that are less desirable to live. So I think that truly has helped us tremendously with this new expansion of our tech. So that's good.
Agree on all fronts. And I love that compassion. I think that there has been a lot of compassion learned through this process as well. Mike, what would you say?
First of all, thank you for including me as a part of this panel. I'm just honored to be with Mayor Levine, Cava, and Beau Williamson. And of course, Melissa, we're always happy to partner with eMERGE. Two things jump out at me. First, equity, inclusion, diversity has really come to the forefront of everything in our lives as a result of everything that's happened over the last year or so. Certainly the COVID crisis contributed to it, but the opportunity to really ensure that people across the entire spectrum have an opportunity to participate in this tech transformation that's happening in our community, in our world, is critically important. And I know this community, and I know the mayor, as a part of her priorities, is really pushing this community to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to participate in this wonderful time that we appear to be having as a growing tech location. It's also exciting to be in this work because we have been busier during this time of economic downturn. While we had a lot of our small businesses, especially within the hospitality and tourism sector, that have been impacted, overall, our work has ramped up in a way that we could not have expected. We're now hosting virtual missions internationally. We hosted one last week with a group of about 40 companies from Spain. And these are companies that we typically travel to Spain to meet with, and we did it all virtually. So our level of activity is actually ramping up. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of that. But most importantly, it's really exciting to be a part of what's happening in this community right now.
Thanks, Mike. And I'll just say that I couldn't agree more about bridging that gap of racial inequities and racial diversity. And I actually believe that that's something that's always been sort of part of the fiber and the DNA of South Florida. We're a very diverse culture. Of course, I think there's always more work to do on that front. But I believe that that's one of the reasons we're also kind of standing out right now during this time period. How about you, Beau?
So I'll start with a personal one. I think I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. And over the last year and 3 months or so that we've been, in this, I think I'll look back and I will cherish the amount of time that dedicated present time that I've been able to have with my family and my wife and my 2 boys. It's hard. It's certainly hard at times, but I think that is something that I see. I will also say from a business perspective, I made a commitment to the previous mayor when we launched the business 24 months ago to bring 200 jobs to the city of Miami-Dade County. And we have grown rapidly and hired rapidly through the pandemic. We're well on our way. And I have been just so impressed with the pivot to the virtual world. I mean, half of the team that I've got today, half of them have never met each other in person. And we've still been able to build a connective tissue and a culture. And I think that's impressive and says a lot about what we can all do together.
Absolutely. I'm with you with the family time. I'm a mother of 5 little ones. So it definitely was very crazy at times when they were all on Zoom and I was trying to work and my husband was trying to work, but definitely cherish all of those moments as well, which I would have never had it not been for these times that we went through. And I think your point of sort of this new way of virtual work, I think a lot of it might be here to stay. I think there's going to be hybrid models I think there's a lot that we learned rather swiftly and quickly of the virtual world, and some of it, I think, will continue to stay. Mayor Levine, Cava, tech founders and finance leaders have been flocking to Miami over the past several months, largely due to stifling from their local governments in other cities. What are the key learnings from this tech diaspora that's occurring? And how are you shaping local government in Miami-Dade to be a facilitator and not an impediment to incoming companies?
Well, thank you so much for being such a driving force in it, Melissa. I know you might not have your very own billboard, but you are like a human. You are doing your fair share to get the word out.
Thank you.
And you live it, right? You've done the work here, you live here, love it here. So, you're like the digital native that's bringing.
Thank you. Coming from you, that really means a lot. Thank you so much.
Really great. Let's not forget, it's not just domestic innovators and entrepreneurs, it's global innovators and entrepreneurs, because truly we are still the gateway to so many countries, and this is a safe place to make your investments and headquarters. So we're doing everything in our power, and I feel just so fortunate to be in the leadership role I'm in during these incredibly heady times when people are flocking here. Driving up the real estate prices, right? I mean, there's definitely some downsides to this, which we have to manage, because
I think we could have a whole other virtual event just on real estate prices in South Florida.
Yes, and we have to be extremely aggressive about making sure that we remember that the folks who are here are innovators, creatives, have huge capacity, and we have to build the pipeline to those small businesses that could grow, as well as to those who should be in the pipeline for jobs from these new enterprises. So look, a Beacon Council is doing a great job partnering with us on our Renew 305. Remember the new and renew. And we have the CEO Ambassadors Program, which you're part of, to talk CEO to CEO about the glories of living and working here. We are working with our university community, some major investments by Knight Foundation in FIU, in University of Miami, to make sure there is a good pipeline for these tech jobs. And as we build the infrastructure, we'll be able to truly have a more comprehensive hub, right? So we don't want to be just the short-term, pandemic destination. We want to be the long haul.
Yeah. You want this to be impactful, long-term, sustainable. Exactly. I'd say we feel the same way about the tech ecosystem, right? We want it to be sustainable, long-term, impactful. Mike, actually following up on the comments that the mayor just made, the Beacon Council, is a very vital part of growing this ecosystem. And Miami has now steadily been building its tech and entrepreneurship ecosystem for over a decade. And now it's truly in the national, and you could even say global spotlight, becoming a venture capital tech and finance capital as well. How has the Miami-Dade Beacon Council been proactively building this moment and this movement? I mean, I know all the hard work that you and your entire team do, but for everyone here who maybe has not connected with you in the Beacon Council before, tell us a little bit about what you're doing and your plans, please.
Yeah, so our work is, in fact, as we define our strategy, the first component of our strategy is market. And that's to market Miami-Dade as the most desirable place for business, location, expansion, and growth. And so that marketing outreach has been a big part of what we're doing. Of course, we're active in the community. We're active on a national basis, and we're active internationally. And we do it in partnership with a lot of other organizations. My favorite one to reference is the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, because they have an incredible international network of marketing partners that allow them, as they travel the world and as they do outreach to bring visitors here, we've been able to tap into their network as we go around the world to focus on facilitating business-to-business connections. And so we've been able to use their infrastructure. So we try and make sure that we're partnering with other organizations as we do our outreach. We're very active in some of the hot locations right now that are showing interest in Miami, such as the Northeast, New York in particular, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. And then, of course, we're now getting very active out on the West Coast. We are right now actively planning our first live mission trip in more than a year for the month of either June or July. We're still trying to lock in on the date. It will likely be to New York City because there's so much activity there. We've already started to do some outreach where we've asked Mayor Levine Cava to join us because we think it'll be a very powerful message that she can deliver to a lot of companies that are simply interested. So we're doing the necessary outreach. We think we have to put the work in to really ensure that these opportunities stay in front of us. And as the lead marketing organization for Miami-Dade County economic development anyway, we think we've been doing the outreach, and we need to continue doing the outreach to ensure that this is not just a moment, but a sustainable opportunity for tech and business and financial services growth in Miami-Dade County.
Absolutely. And I think it's clear that you're putting the work in. I'm sure that you're having a lot of sleepless nights, but it's all probably for the good of South Florida. So thanks for all the hard work that you continue to do. Beau, I wanted to ask you, what makes, in your opinion, the Florida business community unique? And how have you positioned the Slalom Florida office to align within the ecosystem?
Thanks, Melissa. I would say a couple of things. From a diversity perspective, I mean, this is a melting pot. It's an incredible, incredible place, highly diverse, capital of Latin America, some say, and what we're doing. So a lot of interesting and exciting and diverse thought that comes with that. And so what we've been doing related to that is ensuring that our team that we build looks like Miami. We are the most diverse business within the company. So the most diverse market within our company is the Miami market. Our team looks like Miami, and we're going to continue to grow a very diverse team. The second thing that I would say is unique is this is a relationship-based place. I've spent time in doing business in many other cities. Some can be very transactional. This is not transactional. You've got to lean into the community. You've got to lean into authentic relationships. I mean, Michael Finney was one of the first, folks that helped a ton, right? Connecting us to the community. Melissa, I mean, you and I were sitting together on my day one with Slalom, and that's just so important. And I would encourage folks looking to start businesses here, you've got to lean into those authentic relationships.
I think that's another very important part of Miami, where it's welcoming and we all want to connect the dots for the greater good. We all want to build our networks in an organic and authentic way. And I think the three of you are prime examples of this here in our community. Mayor Levine Cava, how can incoming entrepreneurs and organizations engage with the county government? What are steps that they can take to reach out to you or your team? What are types of ways that they can connect with you?
Melissa, I've had really so much fun talking to many. I'm on the WhatsApp chat.
On Twitter too, right?
On Twitter, right? My phone number, my email, readily available. And I've had a number of in-person and virtual meetings with some of these star companies. So I'm pretty excited. We've connected them up with others wherever possible. The county is looking directly at procurement with some of them. We certainly have joined them for dinners and bike rides.
Yes.
So we know that this is a group of people that isn't just here for business, but is also here for sun and fun, which is perfect. So, we're ready, willing, and able. That's why I am leading the charge for the CEO Ambassadors Program. And
I was just about to ask you about that. Yeah, please tell us about that.
Yeah. So this comes from a few of our leading business leaders who recognize that this is, like you, this is the ideal place to live, work, and play. And they didn't want any of those people leaving other climes to go anywhere but here to help us grow our local ecosystem and economy. So we're really grateful. This has been a team effort. It's been quite organic. And so much so that, some of the time we're chasing after them. They've already decided to be here, right? Really, I had one company talk to me about, well, tell me about the financial incentives. And I said, sort of like, look out the window. Would you want to be here? But we also do have financial incentives. So, but really, we are rolling out the red carpet, the welcome wagon, so many things. And Mike could tell you a little bit more about some of the leaders that have stepped up and some of the prospects. I don't know, how much we're talking about that.
Do tell. No.
In the newspapers, it's on the news. So things are happening. So we're just doing everything in our power. But not only it's the weather, it's the diversity, like Beau said. People want to be here because this is the future. And they can have the workforce of the future. They can fuel the future markets. Everything is here with 51% of our population foreign born, 64% of the population speaks Spanish. We're also a leader with other parts of the world, not just the Hispanic world. And we have the highest percentage of minority-owned startups, Black, Hispanic, Latino, anywhere in the United States. It's about 46%. And we've got 34 cities there, and we've got unique neighborhoods. So really, this place kind of sells itself.
Definitely. Mike, do you have any specific resources or committees that the Beacon Council offers incoming entrepreneurs or organizations, or just somewhere where those folks that are interested in potentially moving to Miami can look to, whether it's a website or anywhere where this information might be for them? I know there's a lot of people connected right now that are looking in particular to what resources they can tap into.
Yeah, so before I go to that, I do want to add one just small comment to the mayor's input around the ambassador group. And this is important because these folks really have connectedness to senior executives at companies that we're trying to reach. And just one example, we are working with a company right now that's a Fortune 500 company. They were doing a corporate headquarters search. They had already considered Miami and decided to take a pass on Miami without talking to anyone here. And because we established this CEO group, one of our CEOs says, hey, I know the CEO at this company, and I'd be happy to reach out to them to find out what their plans are. And because of that connection, we're now in a position to actively talk with that company. And we provided them with a lot of data about Miami that they simply didn't understand. And while that may or may not ultimately land in Miami, it's an example of how powerful these CEOs are, because they can get us into boardrooms and into the C-suite when we otherwise might get passed over. So one example, it's a very powerful group, and it was with great foresight that the mayor established it, and we're excited to be working on it. We still have a lot of work to do, but it's coming along. With respect to resources, for the tech community, I would encourage everyone to consider becoming a part of our tech committee. We meet on a monthly basis. The meetings are extremely robust. Beau can tell you he's participated in them on a regular basis, he and his team. It really pulls together the leading minds in the tech world, and they are focused on how to move this community forward faster. The next meeting is May 20th. So it's coming up shortly. I'll post it for sure in the chat someplace, just in case I got the date wrong, but I think it's May 20th. And I would encourage everyone who's interested in finding out more of what's happening in tech in this community to join that committee, or at least sit in on one of the meetings. And then in general, Beacon Council offers just a wealth of free and confidential resources to companies. We'll provide some customized research about the industry sector you're in. The mayor mentioned incentives. We do get involved with helping to facilitate incentives between local government, state government, and companies, permitting and other issues. So we offer a variety of different services that generally prove to be very important to companies as they're making location decisions. Amazing,
extremely important and vital work that you're doing through the Beacon Council and mayor as well through the county. Beau, Slalom has been in business in Florida for a couple years now. You know the market well and have become an intro of this market. Some people question about whether the right talent exists here to build a successful business. I definitely don't question that, but I want to know what you think about that and folks that say that.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with you, Melissa. I do not question it. It is absolutely here. I mean, we've proven it. I think that there's more work to do. And I think, Mayor, you mentioned it, right? In leaning into the university pipelines, but there is incredible technology talent that's here. You know, there's also talent that is open, as we talked about, in coming here. And as we look to bring those two things together to grow the local talent, I think there's no question. I mean, let me give you an example. One of the individuals on our team, a young man from Miami, put himself through school at the University of Miami, extremely talented engineer. He's been with us for a year now. 5 years ago, he would have bolted out of South Florida. He would have been somewhere else. He's spent the last year with us doing incredible things, helping build some advanced technology for the cruise industry to return to sailing, and is flourishing. And we've got to create those opportunities for folks like that flowing through our university system.
Absolutely. Mayor or Mike, any comments on just the talent that we have here in South Florida and opportunities for them?
Go ahead, Mike.
Sure. I had an email just before this meeting from my good friend Ken Fenneron at CASEA. And and Ken happens to chair our tech committee, so a lot of things come together. He sent me an email saying, Mike and Christine, another member of our staff, we are actively looking for 50 recent college graduates, and we'd like to get connected in with the Academic Leaders Council that Beacon Council helps to facilitate, right? I mean, that's just how active it is here. And I've already done outreach to our universities, and our universities are reaching out to Ken to ensure that their graduates have access to these amazing opportunities. That's how seamless it is here. This Academic Leaders Council that we have, FIU, St. Thomas, Florida Memorial, who did I miss? Miami-Dade College, and then of course our public school system. These are incredible talent resources that we're actively connecting to businesses of all types, be it Slalom or other key businesses that we have in the community. And we're ready and willing to help support the talent needs of any company that chooses to set up operations here in Miami-Dade.
Agreed. And I don't think people are talking about the brain drain anymore as we used to hear at times. Please, Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you. So some of this is also at the high school level, as Mike indicated, and really STEM and getting kids interested. We do have coding programs and other things that get people at a younger age engaged. But through, for example, FIU, there is the reach out to the feeder schools. And that is really incredibly important. And I also want to say that our Career Source, which is our workforce development organization, is fully on board with this tech growth initiative and has already committed $2 million to the Renew 305 aspect of it. We have talent, like Beau said, but that talent is not always synced up with the opportunities. So it's part of our plan to make sure that it truly is. We welcome newcomers, but we want to be sure that those who are here have a good shot at these great jobs.
Back to the theme of connecting the dots, making sure that we're all connected, and that even means talent to opportunities, local talent to the new opportunities that are now here in South Florida.
Melissa, can I just make one more
comment?
Yeah,
of course, please.
I think it's really important. The other thing that I would encourage anyone listening, business leaders or folks that are looking to start and launch businesses here or already are here, is I think it's important for us to build the relationship, Michael, if it's through the Beacon Council, but with the FIUs, the University of Miami's, the MDCs, to build those relationships, build a program, invest in that, and build opportunities to those folks to create jobs for them. And just as I said at the beginning, it's a relationship place. And I think building those relationships, identifying the needs, and then leaning in and making available the opportunities is something we all need to be doing.
Absolutely agree on all fronts. As we think about the future and investing in office spaces, obviously a lot has changed over this time period and how people think about the future of work. But do you believe, Beau, that Miami is ready for everything that's coming right now, whether it's infrastructure wise or any other element that you can think of or component?
Yeah.
Is Miami ready is my question.
So it is. We have work to do, but it is absolutely ready. I mean, I think the definition of what work looks like on the other side, we're all talking about, and we work with clients and help them define what that looks like. I think that there are, for us, culture is really, really important. And, to build a culture, you've got to be in 3D at some point during the week or the month of the year. So we were close to signing a decent sized office lease before COVID hit. Glad I didn't. We still haven't yet. We're getting a lot closer. I think it's important that we have a place that we can come together, work with our clients, work together and build relationships. So we're going to be doing that. I think that as we think about office space here in Miami, where that's positioned and what mass transit exists to get access in and out to that, there's lots of work going on there. And I think that's an area that we can continue to mature.
Thanks, Beau. Mayor or Mike, any comments on, is Miami ready for what's been happening and what is continuing to happen here in South Florida with all this newfound acceleration and momentum?
Well, I just think the timing is great. Definitely, we've got, for example, office space. We've got more folks working virtually, maybe less of a need for office space, but now here come these new guys and they want office space. So I do think as far as residents, it is underscoring the need for more housing that is affordable to people who are working every day. Luxury homes are going fast, but also, every kind of home, and it is driving up the prices. So it is really critical that we address the affordability crisis in our housing. And it also puts new pressure on us for our public transit system. We are certainly in the process of revamping it, improving it, but many of the folks coming, they want to be carless or they want to have those options. So we definitely need to be responsive. And look, the housing market is responding with all kinds of creative products. There's co-living, there's transit-oriented development. So I think, it's kind of stirring the pot at a time when we are reinventing ourselves as a community.
Agreed. Mike, any comments on, is Miami ready?
Yeah, Miami's absolutely ready. And it's evident in the fact that the new arrivals are still showing up, and they're helping to sell this community in a way that I don't think any of us who are OGs could possibly do. I consider myself an OG now.
Oh, so, you totally are.
So clearly we're ready. Those stories would not go back if we weren't. And so the other thing is we hear from businesses all the time, and I've yet to have one tell us that they're not looking for office space. They're of course rationalizing the amount of space they need, the configuration they need, but they're all still actively looking for space. And so this market has done a remarkable job over the decade to adjust to the demand for office space in particular. And I think we'll continue to make those adjustments. We'll add more space if the demand continues to grow. And if it doesn't continue to grow, then I think the market will adjust to that as well.
I completely agree, Mike. This next question is for both you and Beau in particular, because it has to do with Slalom and Beacon Council. You recently partnered to create a solution for business owners in Miami-Dade County affected by the pandemic. I just wondered if both of you or either of you can give a brief overview of that case study and how you worked together.
Absolutely. Michael, you want to take it or you want me to?
It's up to you, whether you want to kick it off or go ahead.
Right. I'll kick it off. So we had a team working in the cruise industry just before the pandemic, building some on-ship technology for them when the pandemic hit. That industry shut down. That team became available. we all hit hard times. We immediately reached out to the Beacon Council and to Michael and said, hey, how can we help? And within a 6-day period, we had designed and developed a portal, put it in the cloud, and made it available for the 70,000 small businesses in Miami-Dade County who needed access to the PPP funding.
Amazing.
And we made that available to get them closer to that money so that they could keep their businesses open. And the Beacon Council facilitated everything we needed to make that happen. And that's what we did.
That's incredible. And I'm sure extremely useful and beneficial for these companies to have had that. Mike, any comments on it?
Yeah, as Beau was saying, the portal is bizhelp.miami, B-I-Z help.miami. It's still active because we still have a lot of small businesses that need access to the kinds of resources that were identified. But as Beau pointed out, they were absolutely remarkable in stepping up to the plate to say, how can we help, the 70,000 plus small businesses that we have? We've actually taken the model that we developed with BizHelp and we've converted it into what we're calling our small business accelerator. That accelerator literally just launched last week, and we're in the process of working with on what I'll call a pilot basis, about 100 companies that we intend to work with over the year or so. And we received some funding from the Rockefeller Foundation, Bank of America, and a couple other sources to help us. And the idea is to really go deep with the companies we're going to work with so that when we hit that next crisis, whatever it is, whether it's a climate issue, or whether it's a pandemic, these small businesses will be better prepared to deal with those kinds of issues than they were this time around, because so many of our small businesses weren't able to pivot into different directions or didn't have the capacity to submit loan applications and other things. And certainly the project that we worked on with Slalom really created a template that we're now expanding on for the long term, because we think it's going to make a difference for small businesses in our community.
Incredible. It's an incredible partnership and incredible story. And I hope we hear more of these to come. I think we are now going to take some questions if there has been some questions submitted. Ash?
Yes, we have a few questions submitted, and thank you everyone for submitting your comments, your contact information in the chat. We want to acknowledge that we have a lot of people, not only from Miami, but also people from different markets who are dialed into today's conversation.
I noticed some from even out of the country.
Yes.
We have some from France that are joining and thinking about
International city, I'm telling you.
Incredible.
We love it. So please continue to do so, and please continue to share your information. One of the questions that's in the chat is, do any of these organizations help businesses from Miami expand internationally to new markets? Would anyone like to cover that?
We do. Michael, I mean, that's part of what our business is, right? We do technology, and Slalom does technology and business transformation. Part of that is growth strategy. So how do you grow new products, new services into new markets? We actually recently worked with a startup here in Miami who in the tattooing industry, really interesting product that surprisingly just blew up during COVID. And we helped them in defining what new markets and how to take that internationally. So that's something that we do. Michael, I'll let you comment.
Yeah, actually, I was going to defer to Mayor Levine Cava, because the county has the International Trade Commission, the ITC, and we work in partnership with them. Anytime we travel or anytime they travel internationally, we tend to piggyback on each other's effort. We're focused on foreign direct investment. They're focused on assisting Miami-Dade counties as they attempt to export. And so I'll defer to the mayor. It is a wonderful resource that can help Miami-Dade companies. And certainly we refer companies to the ITC that are looking to export.
Yes, thanks, Mike. And of course, it's quite an exciting commission, but it's a little bit been in mothballs during the pandemic because they've not been able to do their featured trade missions. So of course, they've done some virtual. They have Jonathan Ward now as the director, and it's a board appointed roles. So, hopefully they'll bring this all back to the table. And it's a really great point that we really should be having the interaction of the emerging tech with ITC to see how there can be a more strategic partnership going forward. So I take that as a challenge and an opportunity for us. But excuse me, but let me say, again, we have a lot of global companies in tech headquartered here doing the work around the globe. So it's very fluid.
I'll also just add from an Emerge perspective, one of the reasons that we launched the conference, the signature event that we host, was to connect entrepreneurs, startups, investors from all over the world here in South Florida, so that it would make it easier for them if they wanted to expand from their country or their region into the US, or for companies that were looking to expand from the US, Asia, or to Latin America. It would be much easier for them to connect here first, create those connections, and be able to expand internationally, just to give an answer from the Emerge perspective as well.
Excellent. We have another interesting question that's within the chat. It reads from Efrain Rodriguez. Can the panel give an update on attracting more big finance to the region, and what areas of finance, such as fintech, crypto, etc., they believe are growth areas for Miami?
I'm happy to chime in. Miami has definitely been sort of the financial capital of Latin America. So there are large financial institutions here, and that's a vertical that South Florida has been very strong in. I think when it comes to tech and innovation within finance, we're seeing this as one of the most fast-growing verticals within South Florida, along with health tech, but specifically now within crypto and blockchain. It seems to be that is what we're attracting a lot of, and I'm seeing a lot of startups. I'm seeing a lot of investors that are starting crypto funds that are now here in South Florida. I think it's something that is revolutionary, and that we can completely capitalize on this, embrace this, and become known as the crypto tech capital of the world. And I think we have a lot of folks that are supportive of this effort as well.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we are just extremely active right now in this space. A lot of it is happening as a result of this organic activity that we've talked about a little bit earlier. But literally just this week, so we're Tuesday, and we've already been meeting with companies that are in the blockchain space, the cryptocurrency space, the Bitcoin space, yield farming. The list goes on in terms of the kinds of fintech opportunities and financial services opportunities that are in front of us. And that's not to mention venture capital, private equity, hedge funds, private office, family offices. I mean, these are all opportunities that we're getting connections to, and the connections are coming from multiple different directions. They're coming through Miami-Dade County, they're coming through the cities, and of course, they're coming directly through us. And there is a robust effort underway, and I think everybody's all in to ensure that we land as many of these opportunities as possible.
I was on mute. Classic.
It always happens in
Zoom fail.
In every Zoom. I love it.
And
So
by
we
the
have a
way,
couple of
everyone,
Wait, I think that
yes, I just want to point out that we now have the FTX Arena in Miami-Dade that says something.
beautiful example. Absolutely. Talk about a long-term commitment from them. And large commitment.
We have a couple of questions within the Q&A chat of several people asking that they're interested in coming to Miami and they would like to connect with VCs or how to get involved in building the community here. Would anyone like to just reiterate how they can get involved with your organizations and how they can continue to start building those connections?
Mine is real easy. I put it in the chat. Michael@beaconcouncil.com, MICHAEL@beaconcouncil.com, and we will be happy to work with you on getting your business established here and getting connected into the network that exists in Miami-Dade. And I'm sure my colleagues here will likewise share their information.
Yes, and I am asking George Andrews to put his, because he's has fewer than the thousands of emails I have to go through, but I am at Daniella.Cava, Miami-Dade.gov, and he is George.Andrews and at Miami-Dade.gov.
And this is Beau. We've got, so my email is Beau, beau@slalom.com. And then we're also going to be publishing, we have a website that you can come to, let us know what you're interested in, and we can kind of act as the connective tissue to get you connected as well. I think Ashley will be publishing that just after this discussion, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, we'll be sending a follow-up email with all that information. You should definitely check it out once you get the link. All of you that are listening and part of this conversation, I'll say from an Emerge perspective, you can go to emergeamericas.com and check out everything that we have to offer. We push out newsletters every week. We also publish insights reports. We're one of the only organizations formally tracking venture activity throughout Florida and Latin America, and that's a great place. It's a digital magazine, it's free. You could look at it and see what investments have been made, in what verticals and what startups, which investors have made the investments. It's a great place to look. There's also so many other organizations, Knight Foundation, Endeavor Miami, Refresh Miami are some that come to mind, 500 Startups, SoftBank. I mean, there's so many resources now. And really, there's a big Miami Tech Twitter family, and we want to invite you all to be a part of it. If you just hashtag Miami Tech and look up everyone that's kind of talking about it, people are truly connecting there through DMs, through comments on different tweets, and it really is a great way to get involved. I really had not used Twitter as much as I do now, and I have found it very useful, to be honest, and I've made some amazing connections that I don't think I would have otherwise. So don't be afraid to use that as a source to connect as well.
Thank you, Mel. Keeping track of the time here, I think we have time for one last question, and this is for Madam Mayor. You touched on this briefly earlier in the chat or in the panel today, but this question was emailed in. What plans are being made to structure the public transit system to accommodate a large volume of new arrivals? Can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, the good news is we've been working for the last 6 years that I've served as an elected official to bring forward the so-called SMART plan with 6 major corridors. And we have 2 of them in the works and 2 more under procurement. So we're really moving forward. And of course, these things do take time, but with the new Biden administration commitment to infrastructure, we're hoping we're going to get some good dollars so we can move forward expeditiously. And truly, it is a great improvement over what has existed heretofore. So everybody who's coming in now is going to be at the ground floor of world-class transit, which has not existed up until now.
Excellent, thank you. I'm gonna ask one last question before we wrap up. It'd just be maybe a speed round of what are you just most excited for right now with all of this that's happening in South Florida? What are you most excited about? I'll start with you, Mike.
Well, I'm excited that Miami really has an opportunity to live up to its true potential. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that we're on the path to something that's great. And the way the community is coming together to make it happen is incredible. And you know, the work that we do is at the heart of the work that we do. And it really takes a community in order to make it happen. And I'm just excited that we're putting in the work necessary to really be a tech hotbed.
Agreed. Mayor?
I'm excited that we are in this moment and that we do have the pieces in place and that we are going to be the great beneficiaries of, look, we're world leaders in so many things, and now we'll be world leaders in tech, and that we're going to do it in a way that truly pays attention to equity as well as to economy. And I feel very proud to serve as mayor during a time when we'll be making sure that this is an equitable renewal of our.
Thank you. And we're very proud to have you as our mayor leading the way as well. Beau, what are you most excited about?
I couldn't agree more, Mayor. I think I'm excited about what we can create. I'm excited that we're all on the phone. We're all looking at each other and working together towards something better and that is equitable, that is scalable, that is sustainable. We have all the right folks helping here, and with the right attitudes, I think just about anything's possible, and that's what excites me.
I could not agree more with all of your comments. I also believe and have believed that we have all the elements to make this just the most exciting, thriving, unique, and diverse ecosystem. And I have no doubt that we are at an inflection point right now and that it's happening. It's palpable. I think we all feel it. And it's exciting to be on this journey with all of you. We've definitely unpacked a lot, I think, within the last hour. I wish there was more time, but this is truly just the tip of the iceberg. And we hope and encourage everyone to keep the conversation going, both online and offline, and make sure we put these recommendations into action. If you'd like to learn more about our panelists and their work, in the Zoom chat, you'll find the direct links to their LinkedIn profiles. And I encourage you all to reach out, to connect. If you've enjoyed today's discussion, I encourage you to join us at Emerge Americas for upcoming virtual events. You could sign up through our website at emergeamericas.com. We organize year-round events, and we will be building up to our annual tech conference, which will be held, mark your calendars, at the Miami Beach Convention Center, April 18th and 19th, 2022. And to find out more details about our programming and our content and lineup, sign up at emergeamericas.com, as I mentioned before. Once again, I'd like to personally thank our partner presenter today, Slalom, Beau, your team. Thank you so much. This really has been incredible. We've discussed how to build innovative companies in South Florida, and now we encourage you to learn more about Slalom and how they can help you build your team and be your best. Within the chat, you'll find the link to a webpage to get more information on that. And you also receive a follow-up email after this panel. Thank you again to our panelists. Thank you to everyone that joined. Let's continue to build and collaborate together. This was so amazing, and I'm just so happy to have facilitated this conversation, and I'm proud to be here with all of you. Thank you, and everyone that joined us, please stay connected. The conversation isn't over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Ashley.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.